Hi, my name's Tim Marriott, and I'm with Alberta History Tours. At Alberta History Tours, we help you to discover Alberta's history, sometimes hidden in plain sight. Such a place is where we're standing now. Today we're standing above the Walterdale Bridge. This is where Fort Edmonton II and Fort Edmonton IV stood on the Rossdale Flat below us. Fort Edmonton, reproduced at Fort Edmonton Park, is a huge monumental structure which represents Fort Edmonton at the height of its power in the fur trade. Well, Fort Edmonton started off as a small post on the North Saskatchewan, at one point the farthest west reach of the Hudson's Bay Company. Beside Fort Edmonton was Fort Augustus, the Northwest Company fort. And in fact, the two forts on the Rossdale Flat shared the same palisade, the two forts differentiated by a wall inside the fort, inside the palisade. Now, when we think of Fort Edmonton, we can think of all of the activities that used to animate this river flat back in the fur trade days when there was little else here. So try to imagine at these two forts sharing that same palisade, dozens of dogs, many, many horses tethered nearby, farms that were growing produce in the fields for the use at the fort. Another thing that would be coming into the forts would be buffalo meat, which would be processed into pemmican. So combine all those animals, all those dogs and horses, that raw buffalo meat, the smell of the furs themselves, the produce from the fields around the fort, as well as the many people that lived in both establishments. And they used to say that you may not be able to see Fort Edmonton because of the bend in the river, but you could certainly smell Fort Edmonton from miles away. But the important thing to remember about history is the people. The fort was made up of individuals, and there's two individuals we'd like to highlight because of the occasion that we're marking in mid-February, of course, Valentine's Day. So John Rowan, who eventually became chief factor at Fort Edmonton and one of the most important men in the Western fur trade, was a young man at Fort Augustus, Northwest Company fort, when he came out here at 16 from Montreal. Louise Umfreville was the daughter of a fur trader and his Cree wife. And she seemed to be a well-to-do young woman with many horses available as her dowry. John Rowan, this up-and-coming young man, not yet the power that he was to become later on, was out buffalo hunting one day. And the story is that he had gone out on a very spirited horse, and this spirited horse actually threw John Rowan, and he fell off the horse and was injured. When the rider of this horse came back to the fort, as some accounts have it, nobody knew where John Rowan had gone, except for Louise Umfreville, who had noted the departure of this young man and was able to determine where he may be lying. She actually went out, she found John Rowan, and as they say, nursed him back to health. And from that unusual circumstance, a lifelong partnership endured. They married soon after, and that marriage lasted until 1849 at Louise's death. They had 7 children together. Louise had been married before, and John Rowan also took over responsibility for his now stepchildren. When she passed away, John Rowan noted to friends that my old friend has passed away, the mother of all my children. Once she died, John Rowan was never quite the same and started to look towards retirement and leaving the West. So when you walk across the Walterdale Bridge in Edmonton, you might think about Fort Edmonton, a small establishment in the middle of the western forest. But think about the young couple who met in these unusual circumstances and together forged a life whose descendants still live in this area to this day. I'm Tim Marriott. This is Alberta History Tours. Please subscribe to our channel.